Hello guys, this is Dr. Possibility from Excel Academy. Kindly make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure that you register with Excel Academy. In this tutorial, I am just going to explain on how to sketch the graphs of radical functions in the easy way. I'm not going to go in details, but I'm just going to show you how to do it in less than a minute. Let's quickly get started. So we have been given these three examples. Sketch the graph of each of the following radical function. The first one is f of x is equal to square root x. The second one is f of x is equal to negative square root 2 minus x. The third one is negative 2 plus c square root x plus what? Square root x plus 3. So let's quickly get started and look at how easily you can do this in less than a minute. So we have been given this question, and this is how you can easily do it. So you can say solution, and in this solution, the first thing you can do is to look for the what? For the domain. The domain is very important when it comes to radical functions. So the domain in this case is just that x such that x, you get what is inside, is greater than or equal to what? 0, such that x is a member of real numbers. So please make sure that you watch my tutorial on how to find the domain of radical functions. So when you find the domain in this way, you can easily just write your y-axis and your x-axis. So if you look at this graph, you need to find that when x is 0, y is simply equal to what? 0. And then we have been told by the domain that the values of x should be greater than what? The values of x should be greater than what? 0. So when x is equal to, let's say x is equal to 1, you need to understand that y will be 1. When x is equal to 4, y will simply be equal to what? 2. So in this case, our graph is coming out in that way. So our graph is coming out in that way. So this graph is just how easily you can come up with a graph of y is equal to square root what? X. So this is the graph of this function. So when you talk of the range of this function, the range is just simply equal to y such that y is greater than or equal to 0, because y is starting from 0 and is going up to positive infinity, such that y is a member of real numbers. Okay, so this is how quickly you can come up with the graph of this equation. Let's quickly move on and look at this important question. So if you look at this question, we can move in the same way by simply looking for the domain. So let's quickly look for the domain. So when you look for the domain is simply this guy here. The domain is simply this guy here. So you're going to say you get what is inside x such that you say 2 minus x is greater than or equal to 0, such that x is a member of real numbers. Then here you can simply have x such that this will cross an equal sign, and this will give you x is what? Is less than or equal to what? 2, and then such that x is a member of real numbers. So please watch my tutorial video on how to find the domain of a what? Of a radical function. I've explained this question step by step. So after you find the domain, you can come up with your Cartesian plane. So this is your y-axis, and then this one is your what? Your x-axis. So in this case, we need to understand that there is a negative in front there. So that negative, it's a little bit determining how we are going to move in terms of our direction. So let's quickly look at when x, let's say when x is equal to, let's say 0. So when x is equal to 0, we need to understand that when x is equal to 0, we need to understand that y will be equal to what? Negative square root 2. Okay, so when you plug in 0 there, you're going to find that y is equal to negative square root 2. So this point is where the what? The curve is cutting the y-axis. This point is where the curve is cutting the what? The y-axis. So if you look at this curve is starting from there, going this side. So the other point you need to look at is 2. So the other point you need to look at is 2. So if you check out for 2, when x is equal to 2, when x is equal to 2, you need to find that y will simply be equal to what? 0. Y is simply equal to what? 0. Okay. So in this case, our points is 2 there, and also square root negative 2 there. Then if you pick any number which is this side, let's say you pick a number like negative, negative 23. Okay, let's quickly pick a number. Let's say we pick a number somewhere there which is negative 23. So if you pick negative 23 and put it there, whereby x is equal to negative 23, you are going to find that y will simply be equal to what? Negative square root 25. So y will simply be equal to negative 5. So negative 5 will be somewhere down. So if you check up the graph of this function, the graph of this function is simply moving in that way. The graph of this function is simply moving in that way, of which this point is 2, and then that point is negative square root 2, and then this is your y-axis and this is your x-axis. Then when you talk of the range for this guy, the range is that y such that y is less than or equal to what? 0, such that y is a member of real number. So that's how easily you can sketch the graph of this particular function. Okay, let's quickly move on and look at the next one. So the next one, we have been asked to sketch the graph of this guy. So the first thing we can look at is the domain. The domain. So if you check the domain, you are just going to pick what is inside there. Then you say x such that x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 0, such that x is a member of what? Real numbers. And then in this case, you're going to find that x such that x is greater than or equal to what? Negative 3, such that x is a member of real numbers. So the domain is starting from negative 3 going towards what? It's starting from negative 3 going towards the positive direction. So you can easily sketch the graph by, let's say, you put your y-axis there, and then you can also make your x-axis there. So this is your x-axis and that is your y-axis, y, and then there it is x. So this graph is starting from negative 3. The graph is starting from negative 3. So negative 3 is somewhere there. So when you talk of x, when x is negative 3, so you can pick this same negative 3. You say when x is equal to negative 3, you're going to find that you plug in negative 3 there, you're going to find that negative 3 plus 3, it is 0. So y is simply equal to what? Negative 2. And you need to understand that negative 2 can be somewhere there. So the point is starting from somewhere there. And then let's quickly look at the point where x is 0. So when x is 0, what is y? So when x is 0, you're going to find that when you put x there to be 0, this value will be what? Negative 2 plus square root 3, which is a little bit just beneath this part. Okay, and then we can also look at the point where this curve is cutting the x-axis. So you can make, let's say y is 0. So when y is 0, you can find that t0 is equal to -2, and then you have square root x plus 3. This will go to the other side. You have x square root that is simply equal to 2. You introduce the squared, introduce a squared. This will be x plus 3 is simply equal to 4, and this will be x is simply equal to what? 1. So this graph is cutting somewhere there. So in that case, this graph is simply moving like that, and then when it moves this side, it will cut the x-axis on the values of 1, and it will go like that. So this is how my sketching looks like. Remember, this is just the sketching, and then there will be a 1 there, and then there will be a -3, and then here it is what? -2. In short, the curve is something that is looking in such a way like that. Yeah, so this is how the graph will simply looks like. This is how the graph will simply look like. Okay, then the range. When you talk of the range, you need to understand that the range is what? Greater than and equal to what? 0. Y is greater than or equal to what? Is equal to -2, such that y is a member of real number. So this is our range. This is our range, and this is our graph, which is just y is equal to -2 plus square root x plus 3. So please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure that you register with Excel Academy. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a blessed day.